This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
I would give that a solid 8.5 out of 10.
Talor goes deep.
And I did absolutely no research on purpose.
Matty gets mouthy.
They never cease to amaze. I'm always thrilled.
Guests that money can't buy.
Is there a level beyond dickhead?
Zombies, because I don't want to be probed.
I like to buck the trend.
Starring Talor Goodall.
Of course it's off the cuff, but that's what I do best.
And Matty Connor.
So at home, drink.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
Welcome to a special part of the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show for this week. We had so much information on tight ends and we went on a few tangents, but this was a part of the show that we couldn't get into the final cut if we kind of wanted to keep it at a digestible size, but we felt like was too good to pass up. Kev the Croc Hunter over time has kind of become our odd league size and odd league format champion. He's been a real driving force in getting some of us fellas who've played a lot of standard fantasy and different variations of length of fantasy format, but not necessarily spicy types of redraft or short form leagues. So without further ado, I'm going to cut across to where we asked Kev about some of these leagues. Fellas, we will get into this tight end situation in just a jiff. Before we do, I just wanted to ask Kev one little quick thing, because we talked about the listener league draft we've got going on. We mentioned real briefly too, just about a bunch of leagues that you've been firing up for us and a little bit about how they differ from a standard fantasy league. Mate, you've had 2 or 3 different sorts that you've introduced us to in last off season and this off season. Can I get you to start by explaining to us a little bit about, and Tay has done a little bit on this, but about the Guillotine League, how that works, and how that went with the Aussie Gridiron Network folks who participated last year?
Sure can, mate. I actually sent Talor another league today too that I'm keen to try, but I don't think we'll get up on the ground this year. Mate, basically, a Guillotine League is, you know how sometimes after 4 or 5 weeks, if a team's not going well, the owner just kind of checks out. That's it. He's done. That never happens in a Guillotine League, because basically if you're the lowest scoring team or the lowest scoring team in the league every week, the whole team gets cut and sent to waivers and your roster's locked. You can't pick anyone up. So basically, as the season goes on, everybody gets better. You've got $100 tab. You've got to try and manage through the whole year. The one we did last year, it was really, really good. I was in a really good spot. I was really happy with my team. Then I went and spent a heap of money on Justin Jefferson and Brock Bowers, and they both had a shit week and I got knocked out. So It is a little bit luck of the draw sometimes too, but you know, that's the price you pay. It's
how was that? You only went out and took like the wide receiver 2 and the tight end 1 and still got knocked out. Like, how about it?
I was ropeable. I had the most money too, and I was sitting there going, like, I can buy these 2, and then next week I've got enough money to get someone, and just shat the bed for me. But yeah, it's a really good idea, mate. And if any of the listeners are keen, we've got 4 of them still we're trying to fill. Just get them to reach out to you or Talor or Ian, and we can get them an invite link, and hopefully we can get them filled before I fill them with the degenerates that I always play with. and the other one, Matty, you and I were talking about how people don't really play enough best ball, and it kind of changes the draft strategy and that. So we set up a 12-team super flex, which we've got, I think, 4 spots left. And we're trying to get a 16-team single QB off the ground as well. It's just something different too. Like you'll notice it raises and lowers a lot of your ranks for players like Darnell Mooney, Rashad Bateman, guys like that. A lot of the tight ends we're going to talk about tonight, they become more valuable in the best ball league because it automatically puts your best player into that spot, like your high-scoring player. So those boom or bust players become a lot more valuable than they are in just your standard everyday week-to-week league.
It's an interesting thought too, because so with the Guillotine League, and we were discussing this, you're not actually playing against a competitor each week. All you're doing is playing to make sure you're not last. In the Best Ball League, you are playing weekly head-to-heads, but you draft and you don't need to set a lineup for the rest of the season. How wild's that?
No, you can trade and do waivers, mate, but otherwise you just let the computer take care of your lineup and away you go. It's a lot of fun, really. I've got one Best Ball League that basically 4 of us do each year, just in between our rookie drafts and our redrafts. And it's like a massive roster because there's 4 of us. You have like 4 QBs,
love it,
5 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 4 tight ends, and and you just go nuts. You just draft away and just see who wins it at the end. And it's kind of one of those draft and forget leagues. You just kind of have a look mid-season and go, oh shit, that guy's sitting on waivers still. Let's grab him.
Yeah, that's, I think, what I'm going to find interesting about it, because it'll be the first time I've played Best Ball. But this is a great opportunity because, yeah, as you say, we've got quite a large league to try and fill some spots in. And we've got about a standard size 12-team league where we are looking to fill some spots. So, yes, if you are interested in trying out some of these leagues, Guillotine and Best Ball, find us on the Instagram. You can go through the Aussie NFL Fantasy page and drop us a DM. You could go through me at Matty Podcast, at Talor, Talor41. Let us know if you're interested in joining. We'll get you an invite league because what we want to do too is fill it with people who enjoy playing fantasy. And there's so many of us who are trying these out for the first time as well. So it's a great environment to just get involved, meet some people who play fantasy, and kind of, shoot the shit and learn the strategy along the way with other people who are doing it. So I'm very thankful to you, Kev, because, mate, last year I think you said you were in like 38 leagues. This year, I reckon you may have almost doubled it with how many of these sorts of leagues you've started up to try and help guys like us try
It's
different
ridiculous,
sorts of football.
Matty. Like, if there's someone suggests a weird idea for scoring or a league, there's a fairly good chance I'm going to make it and try and fill it because I like experimenting and running around with it. So, and I think, like, even Ian will say too, the Guillotine League last year was probably one of his favourites. It was just one of the most active. Everybody's kind of strategizing and away you go. And even when you get knocked out, you still sit there and you kind of watch it week to week and go, fuck, if I was still in, I had $22. I could have grabbed Derrick Henry this week.
Yeah, easily. That Guillotine League was easily my favourite league last season. Like, it's the one that I like active leagues, and I really get the shits when leagues go inactive for points or a whole season. Like, I joined I picked up an orphan dynasty team last year because a mate is in it, and he asked me, "Hey, do you want to come and join this league?" And he was the commissioner, and it was just so quiet, and I'm in there poking him the whole time, like, "What are you guys doing? Like, this league needs to change because you're just too boring." But that Guillotine one was the thing I was waiting for on waivers every single week, twice a week.
Yeah.
Like, I literally found myself, the time when waivers was coming up was usually the point where I'm at home, we're making dinner, the kids are being annoying, all that sort of shit. And I will tell everybody in my house to shut up with 1 minute to go when waivers is on.
6:05.
Because as soon as 6:05 ticked over, I'm already in sleeper going, let's go. And I'm putting, because I'm like, I'm on. So,
I'd be driving home and I'd see 5 new waiver claims have been processed and I'd pull the car over and I'd be like, right, I missed this guy, fuck it, let's grab him because he's going to cost me nothing now. And it's just so much fun. Like,
because that's exactly what I quickly worked out was like, the ones you really, really want is you try and spend a bit of fab on, try and keep it back, but you're just hoping that the mid-tier guys, the better of the mid-tier guys go off waivers, like they don't get picked up on waivers, and you want to be the first one in there, waiver claim, like straight in and draft, like you want in there and doing it, So it's it was easily the most exciting one I did, and it was the most fun. And you're right, Kev. Even after I got knocked out towards the end of the season, and I can't believe I lasted that long, but it's the first time I've ever lasted that long in my life. I was still watching it week to week, and like I'm watching who Taylor's picking up, going, "How the fuck did you end up with that?" And he's like, we were talking, and he's like, "I don't know how that happened," And so I only put or watching. The most hilarious thing was watching Josh every single week miss out on a guy by like $1 or $2, and he was putting in the dumbest claims, and it was giving him the shits every week. He was missing out on all the big guys, and he's like, every week it was like he hated himself. He's like, "Oh my god, I was going to go higher, but I didn't." And
that comes to one of my waiver wire strategies. You're going to spend $10, just make it 11 or 12 because there's probably someone else that's going to put 10 on, and if they've got a higher waiver order priority, you're going to lose that. But
I started spending 50 cents, like, $63.50. Just
it was the same thing. Like every week I'd get a message from Taylor, after I got knocked out, like, I've got this much here. I think I can get this guy for this much, and this guy, and I think this guy's probably not better than what I've got. And you kind of, like, the moment that week's finished, if you know you've survived, you're already going through the other team before the commission's fucking deleted the roster and going, ooh, he looks good. Ooh, that's a nice pickup.
Yeah, and I found that too. I think, Tay, you were the same, where everybody was watching everybody else's scores, all 10 teams every single week. And you're watching and there was constant banter and talk in the chat about, like, "Oh man, look at you go," and this sort of, because you're just watching everybody.
But it wasn't
Tay, you did a trade, didn't you? You and I did a trade for Fab.
I did. I sent you. Was it Murray Cooper? I had this whole thing on the podcast middle of last year. It wasn't just Guillotine, that I wanted to basically get out of any Amari Cooper share I had once he got traded to the Buffalo Bills, because the idea in the fantasy landscape was that was a good thing for him, whereas I thought it was terrible. I actually don't like the system there for wide receivers at the Bills, and I thought him going in there mid-season was bad. So I in general was just like, I sold him in a couple of dynasties. I obviously offloaded him to you. It was only for $4 fab or something, but in general I was just trying to, at that point I think I had like $11 fab, so $4 fab in that league meant a lot. So it was just like that in itself. Like if you ever had an Amari Cooper for $4 fab in any other league, you get laughed at, and it'd be the stupidest trade offer ever. Whereas we kind of learnt each week about this Guillotine League and how it was different to normal leagues, and you were able to change your strategies during the year. And like Kev said, I wasn't just checking like the scores of guys and how much fab they had. I was checking the other like people in my league's teams. So I was going up and down it and going, okay, if this guy survives, he's going to need a tight. He's going to need to upgrade a tight end. I'm going to try and stop him from getting a tight end. He's got $2 fab. I might spend $3 on a tight end I don't even need, because I've got more fab and I'm trying to screw them. Like you've got way more sort of like stuff that you can do in a Guillotine League, especially near the end, than you can ever do in a redraft. It was just really, really fun, all the different ways you can go about it.
Yeah, so I would encourage, like Kev put out those 4 leagues and I immediately joined everyone. And I was thinking, I was like, I'm in on everything. If it says Guillotine, I'm in on everything. So I would 100% absolutely encourage anyone out there who is listening and hasn't had a go, and you think, geez, this sounds a bit interesting, get in touch with the boys, because you will have an absolute ball playing fantasy. If you're like me and you've been in leagues where they're a bit stale and you get annoyed halfway through, and I did that with Supercoach once. I was like, fuck this, no one's talking, so I'm out, and then I've never played it again. But if you find yourself getting bored with fantasy, join one of these things, and I will guarantee you that you might be bored with every other league but this one league that you're in, because it's awesome.
One interesting thing I found too is traditionally Guillotine leagues don't have trades. And I said, mate, I let people trade fab, and they're all like, why? I said, it makes it more interesting, mate. If you're low on fab but you've got an excess at running back, and Ian needs a running back, and you say, hey mate, I'll give you James Cook for $8 fab, and he looks and goes, well, there's nobody better on the wire. Yeah, I'll take him. I probably would have spent more than that if he got to the wire. And then you've got $8. Ian's filled a position he needs, and it allows you to compete again going forward. To me, it just made sense. Every American that I started those leagues with when I first joined one said it's just not something that happens in them, but it just also makes it a little bit more active as well.
Yeah, 100%. Love the idea. Do it. Just join one.
Wow. Yeah, and we love active leagues. We love active leagues, right? I'm so glad I asked, Kev, because, mate, you've done great things there to try and just spur people to play different sorts of fantasy. So, again, there's opportunities to join these leagues. Reach out to myself at Matty Podcast Talor at Talor41. You can also just hit the Aussie NFL Fantasy Instagram page too at Aussie NFL Fantasy.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show, Australia's home for NFL and Australian gridiron content. Discover everything the network has to offer, including G'day Gridiron, Pastry Press, NFL, and Aussie Gridiron Today. Buy merch and win free stuff. Visit the mothership at Linktree /Aussie Gridiron Network. Hooroo!